Hello again, baseball fans. I'm Mitch Gatzke. This is Ducks on the Pod, episode number 8. Welcome in. Great to have you along. Please follow along at fourlights.fm/ducks/8. And I just want to mention before we start the show this week, I was at the Tigers-Mariners game on Tuesday night, and wow. I mean, 40 base hits between the two teams in one baseball game. I remember thinking it was hardly a baseball game at one point because there was just so much going on constantly. I don't remember hearing of any game ever that had 40 base hits in it, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of research, and I'll come back with that next week. It was a bit of a long game, and we got out of there late. I actually had to drop a buddy of mine off at the airport this morning, so I'm running a bit low on sleep. But baseball season is really starting to take off now. There's a lot going on, and I can't wait to get into it. Here's this week's starting lineup. Leading off this week, I need everybody to take a deep breath and just relax before we get into this little tussle that happened over the weekend between the Orioles and the Red Sox. I'm going to tell you why it's not nearly as big of a deal as everybody seems to be making it, at least not yet. In the all-important second spot, the Colorado Rockies have swept the Giants out of town for the first time since 2002. And now they lead in the NL West. We're going to take a look at how they've had this early season success and how sustainable it might be as their schedule now begins to get a bit tougher. Batting third, I owe Ryan Zimmerman an apology, and I will offer my sincere apology to the Washington Nationals first baseman. Apparently, he's still a much better player than I was willing to give him credit for. I'm here to correct that mistake. And cleaning up, there's just so much good baseball on this week. I wanted to share some notes from multiple different series that are going on this week and this coming weekend. Stay tuned for a breakdown of this week's most important Major League action. Remember, you can check in with us on Twitter at DucksOnThePod and the Facebook page. Now you know what time it is. Ham? It seems to be the hottest topic in the game right now, so I figured we might as well start with the little drama that happened between Manny Machado and Dustin Pedroia over the weekend. First, Machado slides into Pedroia on Friday night, a close play at second base. Then Red Sox reliever Matt Barnes throws behind Machado's head on Sunday. Pedroia said he had nothing to do with the Barnes pitch. Barnes himself said it wasn't intentional, of course. Red Sox manager John Farrell says the ball got away from Barnes. Orioles first baseman Chris Davis says he hasn't seen anyone miss that bad in a while. Baltimore manager Buck Showalter had the best quote, though. He said the pitch was there. Whether he threw at him or not, I'll let him and the good Lord answer. I'm not going to get into it. You gotta love Buck. But the most notable comments surrounding this controversy came from Baltimore closer Zach Britton, who's actually been on the shelf with a left forearm strain the past couple of weeks. But Britton says the most frustrating part of the whole situation may be Pedroia coming out saying it didn't come from him. He says Pedroia is the leader in Boston's clubhouse, and if he can't control his own teammates, then, quote, there's a bigger issue over there. Now, normally I wouldn't give a damn about this sort of stuff, and I'm really not even sure how much I care about this instance yet, but I will say it's an interesting twist to have a guy calling out a rival's leadership qualities. I don't know if Barnes intentionally threw behind Machado's head. He was handed a 4-game suspension for it, though, and he is, of course, appealing that decision. And I don't know if there was any ill will behind Machado's slide either. You know, it doesn't look like it, but there are ways to make such things appear to be accidents. The point is, it's all he said, she said, and you're never going to hear anybody come out and say, well, yeah, we threw at him on purpose because we don't like him. Man, that would be awesome. But instead, we have to try and pick apart every little piece of what happened and what everyone said, when in reality, we're all going to end up siding with whichever team we like better anyway. People hear what they want to. That rule applies even in baseball. I'm more intrigued by what's clearly bubbling under the surface here than what actually went down over the weekend. As I count up Davis and Britton's 2 cents each, I think it's safe to say there are at least a few guys in that Baltimore locker room who do not like the Red Sox. And don't look now, but the Orioles are in Boston for a 4-game set next Monday through Thursday. And if there's bad blood brewing, if there's more retaliation in the cards, we'll see it next week. Tune in next week, same duck time, same duck channel, for an update on this developing situation.
We're talking about unchecked aggression here.
The Rockies swept the Giants by a combined score of 26-8 over the weekend. It was the first time the Giants had been swept at Coors Field since 2002. 6-5 on Friday, 12-3 on Saturday, and 8-0 on Sunday. Rookie Kyle Freeland, making just his 4th career start, went 7, giving up 6 hits, a walk, and striking out 3 on Sunday. And the good news is Eduardo Nunez was leading off that game, so Bochy must have been listening to last week's show. But the bad news is Nunez went 0 for 4, and now Bochy's probably wondering what the hell he listened to me for. Anyway, the Rockies are off to a hot start at 14-7, and it's who they've beaten that's most important. They're 3-2 versus the Dodgers and 6-1 against the Giants so far. If they keep up that pace, they won't, but if they keep up that pace, they'll end up 27-11 against the NL West powerhouses, and that would be quite a head start on a potential playoff spot. So how are they doing it? Well, the Rockies don't make much contact or put many guys on base, but they do pack a punch. Their 31 homers are second in Major League Baseball, and they're slugging .460 as a team, which also ranks second in all of baseball. The most surprising thing about the Rockies' hot start, though, is that it's been their pitching that's led them. So far, Rockies pitchers have posted a 1.24 whip, which the Nationals have driven up the past couple of days, but that's still a commendable accomplishment considering their home field. Colorado's pitchers are tied for the 4th fewest home runs surrendered at 18. And the bright spot in the rotation so far has been 22-year-old Venezuelan Antonio Senzatella. Through 4 starts, the rookie's 3-0 with a 2.08 ERA and a .85 whip. He's gone 7 innings in each of his last 3 starts. And in 26 innings pitched, Senzatella has K'd 17 and walked only 4. Opponents are hitting just .202 against him, and he gets his toughest test to date in a Thursday matinee before Washington leaves town. Now, no team has more saves than the Rockies, and only the Orioles have as many. Of 14 wins, 10 have been saved, and Greg Holland leads the league with 9 already. The bullpen is striking out more than a batter an inning and walking fewer than 3 per 9. At .326, the Rockies have the 6th highest bullpen strikeout to walk ratio in the league. They've got a stable of arms in that pen and more holds than any other team to show for all of them. A hold, for those who might not know, is essentially a save situation. It's a save that doesn't end the game. If a reliever comes into a save situation and passes it off to another reliever without surrendering the lead he inherited, then he gets credit for a hold. Now, like wins for a starter and saves for a closer, it's not a perfect stat, but holds are becoming increasingly prevalent as relief pitching becomes more and more in vogue in today's baseball. So, in conclusion, the Rockies have exceeded expectations so far because they've done a fantastic job limiting the damage and closing the door. That's taken a lot of the pressure off a lineup that has almost always had to put up some crooked numbers in order to win games. They're in the middle of a 4-game set with the Nationals having split the first 2 games, and they're in Arizona over the weekend meeting the D-backs, who are also hot, for the first time this year. May begins with 3 in San Diego and then a 10-game homestand with 3 more against the D-backs, 3 against the reigning World Series champions, and then 4 against the Dodgers. By the end of that stretch, we'll have a much better idea whether Colorado is to be a real factor in the NL West this summer, or if this early success is just a matter of them taking advantage of a couple of series against the struggling Giants. But in the meantime, tune in to see them. They've got a lot of friendly 8:40 start times for us East Coasters. More times than not, their games turn out to be pretty entertaining, and they've got a few very talented hitters in that lineup. Charlie Blackmon has been on a tear recently. Carlos Gonzalez is one of the more exciting players around. Mark Reynolds has parlayed Ian Desmond's injury and a solid 2016 into an impressive start in 2017. And Nolan Arenado is just... I actually refuse to even hype him up. Just look at his numbers, watch him play, and see for yourself what this man can do. He really is something special. So join me in paying a little bit more attention to the Rockies as they navigate through this tough stretch of their schedule, and maybe we'll get to see what they're really made of here. All right, baseball fans, on our season preview show, you may remember I pretty much called for Ryan Zimmerman to be replaced as the Washington Nationals starting first baseman. Shame. I assumed after injury-ravaged seasons in 2014 and 15 and a shockingly poor showing last year that Zimmerman was simply done being a player worth starting consistently. Oh, how I was wrong. All Zimmerman has done thus far is rake, to the tune of a 371 average, 429 on base, and 771 slugging percentage. He smacked 7 dingers and driven in 18 in just 20 games through Tuesday. He scored 14 times and he's even stolen a base. Dusty Baker stuck with him, kept slotting him into the middle of that lineup, and his patience has paid off, finally. And in a lineup that's predominantly left-handed at the top, Zimmerman's right-handed bat is vital. The increase in his production has also helped Bryce Harper and Daniel Murphy. His ability to protect those two is crucial to Washington's World Series dreams, and Harper has been reaping the rewards of Zimmerman's bounce back more than anyone. He's hitting .400 with a .523 on-base percentage and an .800 slugging percentage with 7 homers, 21 driven in, and 24 runs scored. It looks like nothing comparatively, but Murphy's slashing a cool .325, .356, .542 himself. So, I would like to apologize to Ryan Zimmerman and wish him nothing but the best this season. You've proven me wrong already, and hopefully you'll continue to do so, because it'd be quite a story worth following. This is a huge week in baseball with big matchups happening all over the place. Division races are finally starting to shape up. Teams are beginning to show us who they really are. And that's led to a lot of big series on the docket this week. So let's take a look at what's on deck this week in baseball. First, I've touched on it a little bit already. Nationals at Rockies Monday through Thursday. The Nats came into this series winners of 7 straight and 8 of their last 10. And I gave you Bryce Harper's numbers a bit earlier. He's absolutely must-see TV right now. It's nuts, the approach that he has at the plate. It's damn near impossible to get him out right now. The Rockies managed to steal Game 1 Monday night, scoring 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 3 in the 8th. But the Nationals came back and won a slugfest on Tuesday night, 15-12. Trey Turner became the second cyclist of 2017 in that game. And the best record in baseball is on the line here, folks. Back and forth now, these teams have traded that title. Gio Gonzalez and Antonio Senzatella go at it Thursday afternoon. Both have been pleasant surprises thus far. I talked about the sensational Senzatella earlier. Gio Gonzalez, though, is making an early case for comeback player of the year and looking more like the 2011-2012 version of himself. Keep an eye on that pitching matchup on Thursday night. Let's head over and visit the Dodgers and the Giants. They also play a 4-gamer Monday through Thursday. Matt Cain gave up 2 hits and a walk in 6 innings of great work on Monday night. The Giants took the opener 2-1. Then Clayton Kershaw turned in a gem of his own Tuesday night, going 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 walk, an earned run, and 7 strikeouts, helping the Dodgers earn a 2-1 win of their own. Johnny Cueto toes the slab on Wednesday night. He's got to be the go-to guy now that Madison Bumgarner is out for the foreseeable future. Julio Urias and Matt Moore square off on a getaway day Thursday. As a key mid-rotation stabilizer, Moore needs to be better than he has been so far. Urias, meanwhile, making his first start of the year. He is the main reinforcement that LA has, and I'm sure Dave Roberts didn't want to go to him this early in the season, but he's really got no choice right now because after Kershaw, the Dodgers starting rotation has been shaky to say the least. Kenta Maeda has given up 17 earned runs in 19 innings pitched. Hyunjin Ryu is 0-4 without the peripheral numbers to make you feel any better about that. Rich Hill has been lifted early from each of the only 2 starts that he's made. His health continues to be his biggest enemy. And then there's Alex Wood, one of those flex pitchers you can move back and forth between the bullpen and the rotation, depending on what you need at the time. He's walked 7 batters in 13 2/3. That will not do long term. So Dodgers fans can be thanking the baseball gods for Brandon McCarthy, who's coming off a couple of consecutive years of poor health. He's been much better than you could have reasonably expected so far, but you don't know how long you can continue to expect him to exceed expectations. So yeah, the Dodgers need Urias to step back up to the majors seamlessly and show that he can continue to improve. He showed signs of brilliance in a heavily monitored 2016 season. Now let's see what happens when the reins start to loosen up a little bit. Let's head over to the American League now, where we've got a couple of 3-game series happening Tuesday through Thursday. First, it's Astros at Indians. Dallas Keuchel put Cleveland on lockdown Tuesday night. Complete game, scattering 6 hits, 3 walks, striking out 5. Astros win 4-2. Remember I told you in our season preview show that Lance McCullers Jr. is the new best pitcher you've never heard of? Well, apart from one disastrous start in Oakland, he's been masterful, and he'll take his toughest test of the year Wednesday night against Cleveland's loaded lineup. The Indians' Corey Kluber faces the Astros' deep lineup Thursday evening. That's going to be a matchup you want to watch as well. Let's move further east. Is the rivalry back? Yankees at Red Sox. Tuesday night's contest was postponed, actually, and we've got an ace alert. Masahiro Tanaka and Chris Sale now won't square off until Thursday due to that rainout, and it's a shame that pitcher's duel won't be on ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball, but if you've got .TV, I highly recommend checking out Yankees Red Sox, Tanaka versus Sale. Last time out against the Blue Jays, Sale went 8 innings, striking out 13, giving up just 4 hits and a walk, yet he was stuck with the no decision. It was the 4th time in the past 5 seasons that Sale has not gotten the win in a game in which he's gone at least 8 innings with 10 or more Ks and no earned runs. No other pitcher has more than 1 such game during that time. That's a mind-blowing stat. Let's take a look at the weekend forecast. Orioles at Yankees Friday through Sunday. New York heads home after Thursday night's game to host Baltimore for 3 games over the weekend. The Yanks are 8-1 at home so far this season, and they lead the majors in run differential at plus 30 as of Wednesday afternoon. This matchup pits 2 of the top 5 bullpens in terms of ERA against one another. The Yanks are number 1 at an astounding, microscopic 1.39, and the O's are number 5 with a 2.73 mark. Let's head back to the National League now. Over in the East, the Mets visit the Nationals Friday through Sunday. Just about everyone picked the Mets to be somewhat of a close second place in the NL East, but so far they've not been. And as of Wednesday, The Nats carry a 5.5 game lead over their supposed biggest competition, and they went 12-7 against New York in 2016. So the Mets are looking at a big opportunity here to gain some ground before things get too out of hand. Matt Harvey has been good, not great, but good through 4 starts this year. He makes his 5th appearance on Friday night. A lot of Nationals with good numbers against Harvey, so that'll be one to watch for sure. Then we have a little interleague play. It's the Cubs at the Red Sox. Jake Arrieta versus Drew Pomeranz Friday night. John Lackey versus his old squad Saturday afternoon. And of course, ESPN chose this as its Sunday night baseball presentation. This series, not only the Theo Epstein Bowl, but a potential World Series preview. And wouldn't that be fun to see? Last but not least, we got into a little bit of an NL West discussion earlier when talking about the Rockies. They meet the D-backs for the first time this weekend. And right now, these two have turned the seemingly predictable NL West on its head with their shockingly hot starts. They currently sit 1-2 in the West standings. Robbie Ray has turned himself into one of the best strikeout pitchers in the game this past year, and he gets the ball on Friday night. Arizona has actually scored more runs than any team in baseball, if you can believe it. Chase Field is very hitter-friendly, and these two teams love to swing it, so watch out. All right, baseball fans, that's enough geeking out for 1 week. That's a wrap on Ducks on the Pod, episode number 8. Thanks so much for joining me, as always. Follow us on Twitter at Ducks on the Pod. Like the Facebook page. Please rate, subscribe, review. Tell your friends. Spread the word. Spread the love. Thanks again for joining me. Until next time, remember the 3 keeps of baseball. Keep your glove on the dirt, your bat off your shoulder, and always keep your eye on the ball.
Back, gone.